You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 18th day of March, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here or right now. This is our second live broadcast of the day. We do two every trading day. Now, this broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Unlike the first broadcast of the day, which is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1 week free trial. If you have not taken your 1 week free trial, you can do so right now. Just go to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page, you'll see 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click the link, fill out the registration form. It's an automated process, so take a minute, make sure you get all the little boxes filled. We don't need your mother's maiden name. We don't want your credit card number, none of that nonsense. All we ask for is stuff that we actually do need so that we can get you set up. In fact, most days when you sign up for the trial, the very same day, we will get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and then the following day, your trial will begin. Now, it doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day you sign up for the trial. You will get 5 consecutive trading days where you'll have access to not only the live training room, but every resource that our passport holders have access to. They're yours for 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. In fact, if it stretches over a weekend, so much the better, because then 5 days becomes 7. Some markets never sleep. So when you sign up today, today doesn't even count against you. So we got to get your indicators indicating first, and then your official trial begins tomorrow. Which means your last day of the trial would be next Monday, if you take action today. Okay? All right. Now, when the live training room ends each morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which, as I mentioned, is open to the public. There's a couple different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down a little bit to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link. There you'll have a 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In that email, there's a link. At 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, the benefit of doing it that way is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. You can. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but want to catch up later. You can do that too. Of course, I'm talking about our YouTube channel. youtube.com/CFRN. You already know the YouTube part, so really all you have to remember is CFRN. And while you're on the page, the CFRN page on YouTube, be sure to smash that subscription button. It's free, okay, and the little bell, because what'll happen if you do that, you'll get notified anytime we go live with a live stream. Sometimes we do that in the mornings, sometimes later in the afternoon, like today might be one of those days. And if you've hit the subscribe button and the bell, you will be notified. Now, not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,400 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can actually see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 3 years, even more. youtube.com/CFRN. So with our daily devotional and a word of prayer, as we do each and every day. Now, most of last week, our topic was how to give it all away and get it all back again. Friday, I believe it was, changed our topic to Goliath must fall. Winning the battle against your giants. It's probably one of the most popular Bible stories, David and Goliath. We know how that turned out. But each and every one of us today, we have some kind of a giant in our life. And with natural eyes and natural thought processes, there's no way we're going to overcome that giant. Good news is with God, all things are possible. Today's scripture is Isaiah 43, verses 1 through 4, and I'm going to share with you from the Message translation. Beginning in verse 1, Isaiah 43. But now, God's message. The God who made you in the first place, Jacob. The one who got you started, Israel. Don't be afraid. I've redeemed you. I've called your name. You're mine. When you're in over your head, I'll be there with you. When you're in rough waters, you will not go down. When you're between a rock and a hard place, it won't be a dead end. Because I am God, your personal God, the Holy of Israel, your Savior. I paid a huge price for you, all of Egypt, with rich Cush and Seba thrown in. That's how much you mean to me. That's how much I love you. I'd sell off the whole world to get you back. Trade the creation just for you. Again, that was Isaiah 43, verses 1 through 4. Now, when you read the story of David and Goliath in the Bible, one of the first things you notice is that the Israelite army was dismayed and terrified of the giant. It's in 1 Samuel 17:11. Goliath started each day with taunts and ended each day with taunts. As time went by, all that demoralizing and diminishing had an effect on the Israelites. They began to believe, in spite of their best efforts, something undesirable was going to happen to them, their defeat. So you see, fake news is not anything new. It's been around a long time. Now, this is basically the definition of fear. The belief that something is out there that is going to get you, that you can't do anything to stop. This fear can manifest itself in many different ways. Anxiety, nervousness, worry, stress, dread, hopelessness, panic, to name a few, and can spring up in your life from a variety of sources. Perhaps you experience fear as a result of the environment in which you were raised. Maybe your family treated life like one big threat that never diminished. At any moment, something could go wrong and probably would. Or perhaps you experience fear as a result of trying to conceal mistakes and imperfections in your life. You are ashamed of something you've done in the past, and you worry that one day it will be made public and brought to light. Or perhaps you experience fear as a result of trying to control too many things in your life. Realized that most things in life are out of your control. And this makes you fearful about what will happen in the future. What a perfect analogy that is of trading. Most of the things in the market are out of your control. You only have control over when you enter, how much you risk, and when you take profit. The movement itself of the market is far beyond your control. And because of negative experiences you've had in the past, where you didn't honor your stop and you just let it run, oh, it'll come back, it'll come back, it'll... And then you get that pop-up on your screen, margin call. Let that happen enough times, you'll be too afraid to pick up the mouse. The giant of fear, whatever it is you fear, can get a foothold in your life and begin to dominate you. It can demoralize you and ultimately diminish God's glory in your life. It can chew away at your life, erode your sense of confidence, rob you of sleep, blind you, and steal your praise to God. Fear is a relentless giant, and it is one that must fall through the power of Jesus. Let me ask you a question here. When you wake up in the morning, what is typically your first thought? Is it, how blessed you are, or something that you have great fear over? Be honest. You probably already know, but if you don't, start tracking it. Sadly, for too many, it is fear about something. Where we want to go is in the opposite direction. We want to open our eyes and be thankful that God has given us another day. A first word should be, God, what can I do for you today? This is only going to happen through the power of Jesus. The solution to facing the giant of fear is not determination, but faith in Jesus. It isn't so much saying, fear, go away, like some magical incantation, but confessing, I have confidence that Jesus is bigger than this giant and has already defeated it. In Romans 10:17, Paul states, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. When you see and hear God in and through his word, the word allows you to see and hear that he is bigger than your giant. That builds up your faith, and your faith in turn becomes the stone that shuts up the giant that's already defeated. Remember, when David went out to face the giant, he had no fear. He had brothers around him that were much bigger, much stronger, but he had no fear because his faith was in God, and he knew that his God was bigger than Goliath, who, remember, was taller than Shaq, 9 feet tall. So today, I want to encourage you. Identify the source of your fear and place it in the hands of Jesus. Remind yourself that with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. And he is able to overcome this giant, whatever it is. Remember that Jesus has promised to always be with you. Hebrews 13:5. Name what is keeping you up at night, and then offload those cares to the one who has promised to care for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Then fill your mouth with praise because you see God's might. You recognize his love for you. And you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he will always come through. His mercy will never fail. As you do this, even though the cause of your fear may not be instantly removed like some magic trick, you will be actively relegating fear to its proper place, into the hands of Christ, the nail-scarred hands of Christ. Here's something to reflect on. The opposite of fear isn't courage, it's faith. What does faith in Jesus involve when you're up against the giant of fear? What do you need to believe? What do you need to do? What helps you become convinced that God is bigger than your fears and has already overcome whatever you fear? And what role do praise and worship have in dealing with fear? Why is praise and worship so important? Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, thankful for the promise that you gave us in Isaiah 43, where you assure us that you have redeemed us and called us by name. Promise to be with us through the waters and the flames, for we are precious in your sight and honored. Lord, we thank you for your unfailing love and faithfulness toward us. Help us to trust in your promises, knowing that you are always with us, guiding us through the challenges and uncertainties of life. And may your presence give us courage and strength to face whatever lies ahead. When we pass through deep waters or fiery trials, may we not be afraid, for you are with us. Help us to cling to your promises and find our refuge and security in you alone. Lord, may your love and grace fill our hearts and overflow into the lives of those around us. May we be shining examples of your love and faithfulness in a dark world, bringing glory to your name in everything we do. And thank you, Lord, for your constant presence and unwavering love. May we rest securely in your embrace, knowing that we are yours forever. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen and happy Monday. There's that oxymoron again. No, it's true. Actually, Mondays can be happy. Just let me know when you have one. Frame it. All right? Okay. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. I got a couple news articles I want to share with you real quick. Starting here in the U.S., let me pull in fresh data one more time. Here we are. The Dow is up 135 points. The NASDAQ is up 199 points. That's over 1.25%. S&P 500 is up 46, almost 1%. Oh, but here comes trouble. Maybe. Can't say for sure. Russell 2000 is down 5. Now, I noticed that some of the indices are getting pretty close to the highest weekly trading zone. Actually, they got one more zone to cover, and then they'll be headed towards the highest. Anytime we reach the highest weekly trading zone on the indices by Tuesday morning, today's Monday, but I'm talking by Tuesday morning, historically, that's been a pretty good indication since 2009 that by the end of the week, we just might see those prices at the other end of the spectrum. And when we go to the charts here in a few minutes, I will show you from a technical perspective why I think that might be the case. And one of these articles that I'm going to share with you in a minute might also help explain my argument for that situation. Now, the Russell by the time I'm done giving you the numbers, could turn green and follow the rest of the pack. That's certainly possible. I see it as a warning sign at the moment, but we don't have crystal balls, so we just got to wait and see what happens. In the commodity basket, crude oil up again, $1.36, trading 82.40 last. That's a gain of almost 1.75%. And that's one of the articles I'll be sharing with you. Gold down today, $1.70, trading 21.59.80 last. Silver also down today, 14 cents, trading 25.24 last. In the Asian markets at the close, hold on to your hat. The Nikkei posted a gain of over 1,000 points, 1,032 to be exact. That's over 2.5%, almost 2.75%. The Shanghai gained 30, which for the Shanghai is basically 1%. The Hang Seng added 16. In the European markets at the close, FTSE basically unchanged on the session. The DAX down 6 points. The CAC down 16 points. So we had a green day in Asia. It's a red day for the UK. And at the moment, it is a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. And it looks like the Russell wants to turn and follow the rest of the pack. So maybe it's not the warning signal I thought it was. That's okay. We're always going to trade what's in front of us. That's how it works. The article that I want to share with you, the first one, U.S. stocks have climbed this year despite rising treasury yields. But equities could become more sensitive if yields push higher from current levels. Now that's according to one of the strategists over at Morgan Stanley. Rising yields tend to pressure equity valuations, but this year, multiples have remained elevated in the face of rising rates. But the strategist said 4.35% for the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield was an important level to watch for signs that stocks rate sensitivity may increase. 10-year yield was last at 4.32 earlier this morning when this article came out. Now, the bond market could become more volatile over the next few days, with policy decisions coming by the Federal Reserve and the Bank of Japan. Reminder, at the FOMC announcement on Wednesday, it's a 2-day meeting, so they'll start tomorrow. Inevitably, somebody will leak something somewhere, but the actual announcement and then the press conference will be Wednesday afternoon, so there'll be much to do about probably nothing, because I'm hoping the Fed isn't going to raise again. I mean, just last week they were talking about starting to cut in June. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So again, Bank of Japan and the Federal Reserve have their interest rate decisions this week. Now, the Morgan Stanley strategist said, we think a key question for this week is whether the direction of rates will begin to matter more for the valuations of large cap equities. Now, let me explain that. I know we have a very intelligent audience, so you probably already know what I'm going to say. This whole bull run that we've been on, it's been riding on the back of about 7 stocks. And you know which ones they are. The high flyers, the ones everybody's talking about every day. Now, some other stocks have sort of made a sympathy move in the direction of the big dogs. But what happens when those big dogs come off the porch? And that's what this Morgan Stanley strategist is suggesting may be about to happen. The S&P 500's forward price to earnings ratio, commonly used valuation metric, last stood at 20.5, near its highest level in about 2 years. The benchmark index is up more than 8% so far in 2024. Higher yields increase the attractiveness of owning risk-free treasuries for investors. That in turn can dull the luster of riskier equity cash flows and put pressure on stock valuations. Small cap stocks, that would be more like your Russell 2000s, that's 2000 small cap companies, have been more negatively correlated to yields than large caps, indicating small caps are likely to exhibit greater interest rate sensitivity than large caps on a move higher in rates, if that's what we get Wednesday. Strategists were also watching to see if the 10-year yield falls below its 200-day moving average, which at the time of this article was about 4.195%. Should rates decisively fall back below the 200-day moving average, it could serve as support for equity valuations to remain elevated. And again, thanks to the strategist over at Morgan Stanley who wrote that piece. Now, last week, I shared an article with you Oh, did I lose that article? Mr. Betsy. Say it ain't so. No, there it is. Right? Yes? No, I'm not going to share the article about Elon Musk admitting that he uses ketamine. Nope. Save that for another show. But I'm not finding the one I did want to share. Guess I should have saved and printed that. Has to do with crude. Has to do with what happened last Wednesday when that drone, that Ukrainian drone, struck one of Russia's refineries. And I had that article all set up and ready to share. And it rotated out of the lineup. So, what are you going to do? Not read it? Okay. I'll go along with that. Just keep in mind that's still in play. And not only do we have FOMC Wednesday, but we also have crude inventories again on Wednesday. And last week we had 2 factors, the low inventory number and the drone strike that sent crude not to the moon, but on its way to the moon. We could be cresting $100 here in relatively short order. So just be aware. All right, Logic 247. Before we get into this week, let's take a final peek at last week. Last week was week 293. We issued a total of 50 alerts. 9 never triggered. That gave us 41 actionable alerts, of which 5 or 12% would have been stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. They're one-on-one mentoring sessions. So now let's take a look at where we are on this fine Monday with Logic 247. Logic 247 is, of course, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. But it's not just E-minis. It's also crude and gold and silver and the euro, bonds. Over the last 294 weeks, we've issued over 16,200 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out, again based on market structure. And that simple process we teach all of our passport holders. This week, since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued 13 alerts. At the time Valerie did the recap this morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, this is where we stood. I know that at least one of the waiting got stopped out. Pretty sure 2 of the waiting triggered positively. And I think I put out 2 or 3 additional alerts this morning. And so, on the week, which started last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 actionable alerts, 1 stop out, 25%. Last Monday, we were sitting at 33% and ended up with 12% for the week. So, we'll see how this week goes. Now, with these logic alerts, you have an entry price, an initial target. That's designed to help you get your goal for the day. Then, as I look left at previous swing highs and swing lows, you might have a second target, a third target, a fourth target, and you always have a final trade to target. If it's a short alert, final trade to target will be the weekly trading zone below. If it's a long alert, the final trade to target will be the weekly trading zone above. Now that's the logic alerts. I look left for you. Now with TradingView, Michael has actually automated that process for you to a degree where you've got these little lines that show you where a previous swing high and swing low would be. However, I'm going to suggest that you run a 30-minute chart with those lines on it, because sometimes on the smaller time frames, the 7-tick range, the 15 range, those previous swing highs and lows can kind of be like static on your radio. Some of you probably don't remember static on the radio. Something we used to hear when we turned the knob and changed the station you were listening to. And everybody said, knobs? You're turning knobs? I know everything's digital today. All right. The alerts, the purpose of the alerts is to help you become self-sufficient. In other words, if you want to learn how to trade for a living, it's never going to happen as long as you're depending on someone else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. So, the alerts are designed to help you to get to that place. Okay? Start with the logics, graduate to the CTAs, Pretty soon, you don't need me to show you where the next window of opportunity is in any given market. And every trading day, Michael is, hold on for me 1 second. Sorry about that. Every morning in the live training room, Michael is teaching you how to execute the trades with surgical precision. What I'm teaching you is how to let that market price get to a window of opportunity so that when you do execute the trade, you have smooth sailing. Your goal for the day, put the mouse away. Now you'll notice with the CTAs, you got a long target and a short target. So no matter what the market does, price is above the BBC, the 30-minute BBC. It's trying to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. Now when we go to the charts, the BBC is the green line you'll see on all my charts. Okay? Stands for bull, bear, cross. No matter what market, no matter what time frame you apply it to. Tick chart, range chart, doesn't matter. If price gets above that green line, you should anticipate higher prices relative to the time frame you're looking at. If price gets below the green line, then we're bearish and anticipate lower prices relative to whatever time frame we're looking at. So BBC is just bull, bear, cross. Now with the logic alerts, I give you the potential obstacles. With the CTAs, you step up your game and start looking left yourself to spot previous swing highs and swing lows that can become current resistance and current support. When this report comes out every evening, the first thing you do, go to the 30-minute chart of whatever market you trade, make a note where price is at the time the alert comes out, or the report. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, draw a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. Also, along with looking left on your own, you'll learn over time how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. It's important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, price is above the 30-minute BBC. It's trying to get to the zone overhead. Price is below the 30-minute BBC. It's trying to get to the zone below. Publish the zones for our members every week since December 14th of 2009. They come out Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, so our members have time to get them on their charts before Wall Street even wakes up for the week. Now, when we look at my charts a little later, you'll see last week's zones, because all alerts that go out on Sunday night are based on last week's zones, because I don't publish this week's zones till Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Any alerts I issue today and the rest of the week will be based on this week's weekly trading zones. Only one of three things happens at a weekly zone. 70% of the time is consolidation, 20% of the time is rejection, 10% of the time is the slice. Really, you just have to resist the urge to make it more complicated than that. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So, let's go look at the daily chart of the S&P. Now, you might not trade the S&P. That's okay. I want you to learn to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever you trade individual stock, crypto, Forex, ETF, because institutional traders, daily, weekly, and monthly charts, the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. It has to do with account size. Because of the size of the accounts of the institutional traders and the size they trade in, that's how they're able to move price. Our strategy and our indicators are not designed to outsmart the institutions, but to clearly show you what the institutions are doing and to help you put it all in context and understand why, so that you can do the exact same thing just long enough to get your goal for the day and then exercise the discipline, put the mouse away. Now, 2 Fridays ago, we put in a new all-time historic high right here at 52.57 and a quarter. Closest we've come to challenging it was on March 14th when we ran up to 52.53 half. On Friday, as we discussed on the Thursday broadcast and Thursday night in the members only workshop, the most likely thing to happen was for price to come back to the 62% fib extension. And I said if price continued to consolidate sideways as it's doing, that the BBC would rise to meet price, which does create a different dynamic than when price pulls back to meet the BBC. You'll notice blue and climbing has turned red and sideways. Now let me refresh this for just a second. Make sure it's displaying properly. Nope, it went away, see? Always remember to do that with your daily chart. Go to a 2-minute. But it is telling us what to expect. If price does not close above blue and climbing today, then chances are it will turn red. Okay? We've come down to support, and we've moved up to resistance. When blue and climbing gets directly above price, that becomes potential resistance. Same is true of the step line. As you can see, we're well off the high of the day. The low of the day has not touched the 62% extension or the low of Friday, which spiked the 62. And because the BBC has risen, looks like it touched it on Friday, but it didn't. So where do we go from here? After this rounding top, I'm anticipating a drop to the 50% fib extension. You ready to go, Michael?
I am.
All right, guys, we will finish this recap after Michael gives us a recap of what happened in the live training room. And we'll go live on TradingView for 30 minutes, and we'll do the full recap. We're just getting started. Yes. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Let me just close a couple of things, and then, yeah, I think I'm going to have to do it a different way. Okay. I got to make sure I can get logged into this other thing right now.
Okay. You want me to keep going, or you want me to just wait?
Just wait just a second.
Okay.
It's just going to take a second for me to do this and get into the live streams over here. Okay, here we go. Ready. Entire screen, that one, and we're good. All right. There it is. This coming over right now. There it is.
All right, there it is. Looks good.
Okay. All right. Well, that wasn't too bad. Let me get in here and go out to mytradingiq.com, which is where everybody needs to go. They want to take a free trial. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 18th day of March, 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here, it's purple button. It says sign up for your free 5-day training now, 9:15 to 11:30. Click on that. That's going to bring you to this registration page. All right, just fill out this form. All we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number, and down here at the bottom, if you have an administrator, give us a machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us a TradingView ID. You can click, well, that webinar is not in progress anymore, but click join, and we send everything you need into the room in the morning. Okay? Okay. Spreadsheet. Oh, where did the spreadsheet go? Crap, let me see, I'll load it up again. Let me see if I got it open somewhere else. I might. That's this one. Is it in here? I do have it open. Right. Well, I think I do. Well, in the spreadsheet today, we didn't have that many trades. I did a lot of talking this morning and a lot of showing everybody how to get rid of the CI Live files. For any of you guys that are out there right now who are DT Pro users, if you got the thing that said your indicators are expired this morning, go to the Breeze. There's a video I made in the Breeze about how to fix that. All right, I'll show it here again in a few minutes, but there's a video I made in the Breeze, but in a few minutes I'll show it, and then it'll be recorded in YouTube, it'll be recorded in GoToWebinar, it'll be recorded in, well, it won't be in GoToWebinar, but it'll be in the live stream again. Anyway, the spreadsheet, this is the spreadsheet, goes back over 10 years, got our daily results. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. This is now, today, the 18th day of March, 2024, made 99 ticks on the NQ and 10 ticks on the ES. Put us up 620 this morning in the morning session. Today it took 12 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day with 15 contracts. We're up $2,150. So we took a total of 12 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at 5,000. Right? Yeah, that is right. On the month now, we're at $5,082. That's over 12 business days, averaging $423 per contract per business day. On the year, we're at $20,490. That's over 53 business days, averaging $386 per contract per business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add one contract per month, starting January of 2023, like I did, that means you just started with 13 contracts in this January because you added one contract per month all year last year. So far this year, we would have only had to work 21.05 hours, whether you had one contract or 10, 20, 30, 21.05 hours to get the goal for the day. All right. That's 10, 20, 30. I'm not really sure about that. Depends on slippage and all that stuff, but with one contract for sure. And if you started with 13, you would have averaged $4,948 per hour. Okay, that's where I am right now in the year, $4,938 per hour. All right, let's get into it. These are the charts. Now, we'll go here and see what we did today. We switched to gold today because the crude just wasn't looking good and we didn't do anything with gold. We had some green arrows here, but after the first one, you need to put in a lower swing and it never did. And over here, I didn't like it because we had lower highs and higher lows. If you did take that, you need to put in a higher swing and it didn't. If you did take this, you need to put in a lower swing and it did actually put in a lower swing. Any one of these would have given you enough to get the stop to break even, right? And then one blue arrow over here during the break, and that was enough to get the stop to break even. But really just nothing to go on with gold today. Okay. The Russell, we had no trades on the Russell either. That's odd. We normally have some trades on the Russell, but we didn't have any trades today on the Russell. All we traded was the ES and the NQ today. The Russell started out, it was in a weekly trading zone right here. Started out at a weekly trading zone. Then it made a big move down, got back into a weekly trading zone. I didn't even notice it to switch zones. I noticed it was going into a zone again when I looked at it again, but I didn't notice it switch zones. So it was going into the zone all morning. And then we did the lesson plan, and then it was going into the zone from the bottom. And then it got back to going into the zone from the top. And we just had no opportunity this morning on the Russell, which is really odd. During the break, there was this one spot here with the blue arrows, and that was enough to get the stop to break even. Really odd day with the Russell. The ES, we had a couple of trades. think we had 1 4 tick and 1 6 tick. This one right at the end of the session, we had 6 ticks profit on that. And this one toward the beginning of the session, we had 4 ticks profit on that. And that was it. Okay. And on the NQ now, the NQ, we had majority of the trades as we usually do. And let's go here. Now, we have 3 targets from this last blue arrow. I'm curious which one of these, if I do show target lines on the chart, I guess any one of those would work, right? That's showing 4 targets, so this isn't the one that's actually working. It's this one. I do show target lines on charts. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so I just want to see where these target lines are coming from. You can see that we had the blue arrow here, and it's come down and hit 3 out of 5 of the targets, I guess. But if we slide this all the way back to the beginning, the question box is out. Okay, slide this all the way back here to the beginning, and we're just about into the live stream portion. So let me bring that up here so I can hit start on that when it's time. And then I will show you guys how to do the CI live thing again. Okay. I don't know why that became a problem over the weekend, but apparently it's a problem to everybody. It was even a problem to me and to Dwayne. But here we go. All right, I'm going to hit start on the live stream right now. On the NQ today, we did have some decent trades. We had a stop out too, I believe, but our first trade on the NQ, this is where we got the goal for the day. It was right here off the ribbon. Picked up 30 ticks on that very first trade. That is where we got the goal for the day. And there was another blue arrow here that didn't go anywhere. Blue arrow here that went 30 ticks at least. Blue arrow here that I stopped out on. So I went from plus 30 to just plus 10 after that one. Then I had a break even on that blue arrow, and then I picked up a couple more in here. I went from plus 10 to plus 40, so I picked up 36 on that, then break even on that one. And then I went from plus 40 somewhere in here to plus 60, so I picked up 20 ticks on that. And then somewhere in here I picked up a little bit more. I must have marked it because I picked up another 30 tick trade to get me to plus 90, and then another 9 tick trade to get us to plus 99. I think the 30 tick trade was on one of the black arrows. I think it was right in here. I picked up 30 ticks on this one, and then I think I picked up another 9 over here on one of these two. Anyway, I ended with 99 on the NQ this morning, 99 ticks. And during the break, let's see, after those, during the break right here, there was a nice trade there, a nice trade there. This did put in a higher swing, so you still would have taken that and it would have stopped you out. You could have gotten it back over here. And then the outer bands are really flat on this, so we wouldn't have taken those. And again, outer bands really flat on that one. This would have been a break-even trade from me. And this would have been a nice profitable trade right here. So everything was going well today. We ended with 99 ticks on the NQ. We could have done better, I think, if I had been focused on only the NQ, but I wasn't, as usual. And that's that. All right. So, let's see. We have right now, we're looking for price over here on the gold to come back and test the ribbon. We had a direction change here and it hasn't tested the ribbon yet. Over here on the NQ, we've tested the ribbon several times, but it looks like it's in a spot where it's about to test the ribbon again. Let me hit connect on this. Uh-oh, it disconnected me here. Sorry, I connected on too many things. I mean, just close that one and minimize that, and I hit connect on this one. That should be okay. There, okay, we're back connected there. That's all good. Okay, so the live stream is running. Everything's going good. And now we have a shorting opportunity here on the NQ. And I thought I hit sell on that, but Apparently it didn't go because I hit something else. And I have a DOM that is way in the wrong place over here. Looks like. There. Let me just see. There we go. Okay. All right. So the NQ was trying to sell the blue arrow there a minute ago. And I didn't get a chance to sell it. I tried to, but I couldn't find my DOM. So it's gone now. 8 ticks into profit. So it's too late to sell it now. So we have to wait now for the next trade setup. You can see the Russell here is going down into the weekly trading zone, and that was part of the lesson plan today. The weekly trading zones weren't, but support and resistance levels were. And that's what the weekly trading zones are. They're support and resistance levels. Okay. There was one other thing that I wanted to do while I'm starting the live stream. If you are using one of the other platforms and you're getting a CI live error, or you're getting an error that your indicators are expired, then it's because you need to go here to this place right here. You go to C, local disk, go to users, and then up here in view, go under view and do hidden items, check hidden items. Okay, check that little box so you see hidden items. Go into users, then whatever one is the most recent one that you've used. For me, it's stacked, but for you, it's going to be something different. Go into there, then go into app data right here, then go into local right there, and go into gain, custom indicators, and delete what's in here. If you have your DT Pro platform running, there will be one file that you can't delete, maybe 2 that you can't delete. Don't worry about that. Delete everything else. Right? You also have to go here to documents, my indicators and strategies, find this file, this exact file that's got my initials and name in it, the CI live file, delete that. All right. When you do that, then you're going to have to go back to your DT chart, right click on the chart, go to indicators, go to indicator store, and the store is going to show up. Now, you probably won't have these checked off, but if you do, it doesn't matter. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Click on the one on the bottom with my initials again, then install it. Right click and hit install, or you can, however you want to install it, just right click it and hit install. That's what I do. All right. Shut DT Pro all the way off. You can't just log off and log back on. I know the message that pops up says you have to log in. Logging in is not enough. You got to shut it all the way off and turn it back on, and then all your stuff should work again. Okay, that's the process. That's been recorded now several times. It's in the Breeze. You can watch a recording of it in the Breeze right now. You can come back and watch this in recent streams in a little while if you want. Whenever we're done here, I'm gonna be able to watch that again in the recent streams. Okay, and it's in YouTube now too. All right, still short condition met here on Tesla, 172.24. This is a Tesla 5-minute chart. So let's go look over there at that and see what's going on. We almost have a trade here on the NQ though. We do have one here on the ES, but it's not quite right. The one on the NQs, we're gonna look for a down close there on the NQ. It's not gonna give any kind of arrow because we're not in the overbought, but it is hitting the ribbon. So a down close there would be 44 down to 40 even right now. Okay, what's that? A little higher now, a little higher. Now it's 47 down to 43 now is what you're looking at. 47 down to 43. Right now you might not get a trade. 47.75 down to 43.75. Probably not going to be a trade though. If you end up closing up on this bar, we won't have anything. If we close down and it pulls out of the overbought, we'll have a green arrow. But I think it's going to close up and disqualify. It did. All right. So I was going to go look at something else here. Tesla was one of the things I wanted to look at. Bitcoin was another one. Let's just take a look at the Bitcoin first, okay? Now, for those of you guys that have been following us in the live stream, we've been giving you the price action information that Bitcoin has been consistently giving us. And this pullback down into the blue circle right here just happened. All right, the last couple of days it's been happening, and so now we actually have a blue arrow long trade right here. And that, once it finally does pick up speed and start moving again, that should push it through all-time highs all the way up here to 80,250 is what I'm thinking. 80,000 anyway is where it should go up to pretty soon. I don't know how long that's going to take. It could be 2 weeks. That's about what this took right here, 2 weeks. Each one of these is taking a couple of weeks. So probably be a couple of weeks and we'll see it up there again, is what I'm thinking, right? That's the Bitcoin. Now, if we go here, because we just got a 5-minute Tesla, 5-minute Tesla short is what it said. Now this is CCL. I want to show you something about the CCL in a few minutes too. Well, I guess I can show it to you right now. CCL, I'm gonna do a live stream about this afternoon. You can look at that. Oops, if you go here to live streams, I can't show it to you here. I'm logged in too many times to be able to show it to you. Now, if you go to live streams, you'll see one that's coming up at 3 o'clock. It's going to have this is the screenshot. And you can see CCL's right here at the top. This is using our scanner with the parameters that I have set into it. The stocks that have earnings this week, stocks that have positive, well, they should have a positive EPS. I guess I can put that in there. But stocks that have earnings this week, and that have a strong buy rating and that trade over a million shares. CCL was one of the ones that I had in that list. CCL's, it didn't satisfy something in here, but CCL was one of the ones in the list, and you can see right here what happened to CCL. CCL got a long trade here. This was Friday. Got a long opportunity there Friday, and then again, well, the same thing was going on this morning from the continuation of Friday. But it gave all these targets here, and it hit a bunch of those targets so far. It's getting set up for another long trade is what it's getting set up for, and that is earnings coming out this week. I don't know if earnings came out today. It doesn't look like it because they usually put a symbol up here when they do have earnings. Just wanted to point out, if you come here to TradingView trades, you can go here every day and put in whatever parameters you want, the filters that you want. Like I have upcoming earnings date. That's actually next week's earnings, so that'll be back up again next week. What else do I have in here? These are the different parameters that I have set. If you scroll down, you can set a bunch of these different parameters down here if you want to, and filter out everything that you want and grab your stock, and then come back here to the TV Trades app and just put it in and see what it does. Now Tesla, you can see I have Tesla triggering these alerts, and that was from that was from last week. I had put that in just to trigger the alerts. It was on a 5-minute chart too. This is a 5-minute. Okay, so Tesla just said it was about to trigger a short trade. Now I don't have shorts turned on this one, so it's coming from a different place. But put that on. Then Tesla just did trigger a short right over here. It hasn't given a long trade in a little while. The last long trade it gave was back here on Thursday. Right, it gave a long trade back here, and that worked out pretty well at the time. But right now it's just showing a trade here. It's in a bit of an uptrend. So, the short entry risk reward is 12.21. So what that's saying is the stop is pretty small compared to the next swing low level, the next target, 160.76. So 160.76 all the way down here is the next level that it's looking at, all the way down there. Just want to point that out. I don't know if you guys saw that Tesla short thing come up on my screen. Let's go back to 4 charts here. 4 charts. Okay, so on the ES right there, it's got a green arrow short trade now. Has that gone 4 ticks into profit? It has actually gone 4 ticks into profit. So it's not the greatest time to take that trade. It looks like it's going to go down to 1975, so it should go down to 8 ticks from where it is. But it's not really the greatest time to take that trade because it's already gone into profit 4 ticks. Okay. Done. Yes, I just went over that a bunch of times, Don. Go out into the breeze, Don, Telegram. Go into the breeze, and there's a recording that I put in there at 10:30 this morning. You can go check that out, okay? And it'll be in this recording too. Okay, Don. I put one out there, and I just did it again here a few minutes ago. But that one, I think I did it right at the beginning. Okay. So yes. That stop should have gone to break even on it. And yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it's not just you. And I know you're on. Are you on Zaner? Zaner 360, is that who you are? I thought that's who you were.
Well, for many people, what happened was, and it happened to me, I got the pop-up, but I just clicked OK, and then my charts populated along with the indicators. So some other people messaged me and said that they had the same experience, that even though they got that warning, they clicked OK, and their indicator still came up. So
Yeah,
I don't know why it affected some people one way and other people another way.
Yeah, and I'm getting text messages that some people, even though they've deleted all the files and done all that, they're still having problems. So if they're still having problems, then they might actually be expired.
Well,
that's what I'm thinking.
That's possible too.
Because, well, that is a distinct possibility. All right, so what am I doing right here? What did I just do? Oh, I went to the 30-minute charts. Here we go. Go back here. And we'll go back to the 4 range. From the 4 chart thing. So Tesla given all this information here. That means it gave a second arrow going down. Or it's blinking blue. Red on a blue or something like that. All right, either way, this is not helpful. There, that's better. You minimize that. And the ES, I'm out on break even. And we don't have anything you can do with Russell. It needs to put in a lower swing. We don't have anything you can do with the NQ. It's not trending. And how did I get back to crude oil over here? I don't know. I don't have a crude DOM open, so I can't really do anything with the crude. It's not giving us anything anywhere right now. But yeah, Don, just watch that video. It's a pretty simple process. Okay, I'll walk you through the whole thing. Time is at 1:14, so 16 minutes left in here. So we need a lower swing from this green arrow to be able to take another trade in that one. Over here on the NQ is just going sideways in a no trade zone. The aqua background is a no trade zone. Over here, the Russells, you can see we're in a no trade zone on that one as well. And we have crude oil over here instead of gold. I don't know what I did to switch, but either way, neither one of them are really doing anything today. Okay. Wow, that is a lot of good weather stuff there. Today is the 18th day. March. The MIA is showing possible long soon. And that says, doesn't see what time frame it's on. Really quick. I haven't looked at, I'm curious about this one. This is on a daily. I'll look at it daily. A7 range chart. I got to write down on those words. I did not. I did not. Let me go out there and see. Oh, okay. Mary, do you want that GBP USD? Is that what you want? I'm just going to make that leap and say yes. Let's do it. We'll do it here first. Okay, GBP. No. Oh, I guess we do. I guess we do have it. And the ICE spot, the spot index. This one, yeah, right down here, US dollar. It would do Forex.com since that's one that's owned by our friends. So we're gonna have to change the sensitivity on this because you have so many decimal places. You have to go in here and change the sensitivity and probably take it off a daily too. Let me take it off a daily first. Put on like a 5 minute. Okay. Put on a 5 minute chart because using range bars with Forex is a little iffy because they have such a spread, right? So in here now, to get rid of the no trade zones, you're gonna have to have a whole bunch of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 more zeros, I think. Let's see where it puts no trade zones. There we go. It doesn't have any no trade zones. That's maybe too many zeros. One less zero. Just okay. Okay, so it's got no trade zones if the trend changes. That's what we're looking for. So I don't know what time frame you're looking at, Mary. I don't know if you're looking at a 5 minute or if you're looking at a 1 minute, if you're looking at some other kind of thing. But the 5 minute right now is suggesting, well, the last short was from these blue arrows. First target 272, which it's already hit the first target, the second target, the third target, and now the fourth target is all the way down here. This is the fourth target, and this is the fifth target. It's suggesting shorts all through here. All day today, it's been suggesting shorts so far, and it looks like it's still doing. It's putting in lower swings every time, so I'd still expect it to get down to this one right here. All right, 27,167 is what I'd anticipate on that. I can't paste pictures in there. I wish I could. Oh, I can actually. Now that I think about it, there is a way to do that. I think. Yeah, oh, you can do it in the chat. You can do it in the chat thing. You can't do it in the live stream. That's what it was. I think. Yeah, in the live chat. In the live chat. But I mean, in the other chat thing on the side, you can do a screenshot of your. You can just do a click on a mouse click, and it'll do a screenshot right in there for you. But in this thing in here somewhere, I know there's a place in here you can. Yeah, right here. If I just click this camera right now, it'll post this screenshot in here, but it'll post it in here. It's in this public one over here. It's not the other one. See, that's how that works. I wish I had it here too. Oh, I can do it here, but it'll be in the public one there. It won't be out there. See, if I do that, it's gonna post it right here. Right, see how I just posted it right here. Well, that's public. That's public, but it doesn't stick it in the live stream that we have running. This here on the side. But yeah, I don't know about that. If I go over here. No. But that's what Forex looks like. The BIMI is what I was trying to find. We could do the GBP on this too. GBP USD. Do the same thing here. Forex.com. And this is on the 25 range. So you can't really do this on a 25 range with the Forex. Again, you'd have to go to like 5-minute chart or something like that. And in here, you can put the shorts on with Forex. You can do the shorts. Okay, so it's just given the longs haven't gone anywhere. It's given some nice shorting opportunities in here, but the longs haven't gone anywhere so far today. 5:30 it said to short there. Then right here at 8:40 it said to short there. And it hasn't said to short again soon, but it's saying it's going to give you one soon. Possible short soon is what it's saying. So it hasn't really given all that much in this sense. But using our regular indicators right here, we had several opportunities here where it said to short. Okay, use 15-minute. Okay, well, the 15-minute here, we'll see. Right, on the 15-minute, now it gave these longs right here, but the outer bands are flat, so you don't want to take a long trade when the outer bands are flat. You'd be better off taking these short trades in here. And so far today, it really hasn't given anything. This was on, I guess it did. It gave one short right here today. Right, it gave one short right here today at 12:36. Had the black arrows in here too, but I like to bounce off the ribbon after you get a trend change. Okay, so right, wait a minute. I guess this is all today, isn't it? This is all today. I was thinking that was all. Well, I guess it's something I used to use in a 15-minute chart. Okay, so in here, like I was saying, you don't want to go long when the outer bands are flat. So you had some shorting opportunities in here, here, and here. And then you had another one right here. I mean, you could have taken that possibly right there. On 7 range, that's what the BMEA thing is on. Could have taken that longer for a little bit and give another short right here. And right here, I wouldn't take these with the outer bands being so flat. But that's what it looks like there. And over here on TV trades, the 15-minute, you say? 15 minutes. That's a lifetime. All right, so on the 15-minute today, it only gave one short right in here. It didn't give any longs, so it gave one short, and that short was from right here. It's actually right in here. This is the short. It gave a risk reward, it gave the targets, target 1, target 2, and it gave the stop. So it looks like it wouldn't have gotten to any of the targets before it stopped you out, because the stop would have been right here. So that would have stopped you out before it got down to the targets down here. In this case, today, on a 15-minute. That was today, right? And this was Friday. So Friday gave a decent trade right here. And this was Thursday, gave a good trade right there. And I guess that was Friday early morning hours right there. Okay. That is what it looked like there. Now, as I said, on the 15-minute here, it gave a few opportunities here, the blue arrows and the green arrows. The blue arrows are the highest probability trades, but it has some blue arrows and green arrows going back to this morning. And let's go look. See, if you learn one thing, you're just going to learn one thing. You just learn the blue arrows, and you can just put those on. Take off all the other ones. Okay. And just focus on the blues. And this is on a 15-minute. Okay. Now, I don't trade Forex myself, so I can't really give you as much guidance here as I could with futures or with stocks, but you can see how it all works in here. Okay. Everything works. Doesn't matter what market you look at it on. Back to futures, we really don't have anything going on. The crude oil's almost got a long trade here. The Russell came out of the no trade zone. It's pulling back. The ES is still in a no trade zone. The NQ's almost got a trade here. It's almost got a long trade. Let me see on that one. See if I can find my dog. Maybe place a trade on that. We want to come back down and hit the ribbon right here. It's 75.5. It's going to bounce off the ribbon. Now here it's hit it. Now we want to bounce off it. So 4 points up from that to be 79.5 is what you're looking at for a potential long trade there on the NQ. Now it's going to be lower than 79.5. It's going to be 78.5 now. 78.5. 78.5. Put it down there. Hang on, I'm trying to cancel it. I'm trying to get in it. Hang on, I'm just going to jump in right here. Okay, now we're in it. We need 8 ticks in profit to stop to break even. So there's 8 ticks in profit. Stop us at break even. We did get the blue arrow eventually. I got a better entry than I was going to get. I have a 30 tick profit target up here. So I'm just going to lock in 4 on this. I have 1 point locked in and I have 7.5 point profit target. Right, that's what 30 ticks is. So it should get up to the prior swing high at 87.50 here. So it should take me out there with 30 ticks in profit. And with 15 contracts on this, $2,250. So I'll be happy with that. Lock in 2 points here though. And so we'll just wait on that and see. It should go up through the prior swing high right here. That's what we'd anticipate. Okay, it's going to get up through the prior swing high, which is right here, 87.75. Oh, where's my dome? Hang on. I lost my dome. Okay, it just took me out with something. I got to the target up there. It just took me out with 30 ticks in profit. All right, so that's good. That's what you want to see again and again and again. 30 ticks in profit over and over. That puts me at now 129 ticks. 129 ticks times 15 is where I'm at. The NQ, and you see how it is getting up to the prior swing high. Now it should put in a higher swing, go through that prior swing high. The leg lengths aren't as clear here. If you look at it this way, leg lengths are in Wednesday's lesson plan. If you haven't taken a free trial, I should tell you this too. If you're watching the live stream and you haven't taken a free trial and you like what you see, then go here to mytradingiq.com. It's on one of these. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, go here to mytradingiq.com and sign up right here. Click on this purple button. There's no credit card required for the free trial. If you like what you see and you want to have access to the indicators, click on that. It's going to bring you to this page right here. Fill out this little form. All we ask for is your name, email, phone number, and some drop-down boxes. Down here, give us your TradingView login ID. Okay, so Mary, give us that TradingView login ID. Click join webinar, and you'll be sent all the information you need to get into the room. If you give us your TradingView login ID down here, I mean, I can see what it is now, but if you sign up for the free trial and give it to us, that will enable the indicators for you at that time. Okay, that is all that you need to do. Now, back in here, the NQ did put in a higher swing. Right now, it just put in a higher swing, so that's good news. And it's 1:30. Guys, this time flew by today. All right, so let's go find this and make sure I answered one question I had in there. Mary, I think I did. All right, so I just showed you all how to take the free trial, and with this, I guess I can wrap it up and send it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready. Okay.
Yep. Alrighty, recap of the morning session.
So this morning it took 12 trades and 1 minute to get to $2,150.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we made it as far as the daily chart. Okay, so I'm not going to re-explain this all again. If you missed the beginning of the broadcast, you can, about an hour after this broadcast ends, go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN, and today's broadcast will be posted there in its entirety. The green line we were talking about earlier in the broadcast, the BBC, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, and it's called the BBC. It stands for Bull Bear Cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. This is currently on a daily chart. You can also see that not only does price always revert to the mean, But the pullback pulls more often than it doesn't. We got a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and basically a 6. Okay, so Wednesday we caught a doji. Thursday we had a red day. Friday we had a red day, which brought us to the 62% fib extension, which we discussed last week that would be potential support. Okay, so that support has led into today's rally, and we've pushed some pretty high numbers on the indices. So tomorrow, potentially turn around Tuesday, but then the wild card this week is on Wednesday. We have the FOMC, not only here in the United States, but the interest rate decision from the Bank of Japan across the pond. That comes out on, I believe, Wednesday as well. So, two things to potentially rock the boat. Often, heading into an FOMC announcement, things get very quiet, very sedate, and they just creep sideways. There's other times, based upon what the majority of the institutional traders believe the Fed is going to do, you'll see some movement, some positioning, getting ready for the move that they hope comes. We don't recommend trading any economic reports, especially the FOMC. It's like gambling. Because whatever the Fed does, price is probably going to run up, it's probably going to run down and back up again and back down again. And quite often, when the dust settles, price is pretty much back where it was before the halftime show. So, by 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, you should have your goal for the day, put the mouse away. Nothing wrong with sitting and watching the action as it unfolds and listening to the announcement. But where the real volatility comes is not so much with the FOMC interest rate statement, which comes out at 2 p.m. Eastern, but at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, when Jerome Powell comes to the podium, reads a prepared statement, and then takes questions from the audience. That's the part. When he's taking questions from the audience, that's when the real volatility can kick in. Now, it wasn't always this way. Back in the day, and I'm not talking too far back in the day, in the early years for myself as a futures trader, the Fed was not transparent. In fact, they were very careful not to telegraph or signal what they were going to be doing. But we now live in a different world. We've gone from the Fed, who said if necessary he would fly over America in a helicopter, I'm talking Ben Bernanke, throwing out $100 bills to stimulate the economy, to the current Fed, who's ultra transparent with all these press conferences, but who's also literally strangling the life out of the American economy with these continued unprecedented back-to-back rate hikes. I know we caught a break here a couple times. Well, what do you do with the pig before you slaughter him? You fatten him up. So, I don't claim to know what's going to happen on Wednesday. I just know I don't want to be any part of it as a trader. I want to let the market react. Then once the market resumes its natural rhythm, that's when I want to be a participant. Because then it's possible to know what the next high probability, low risk move is. When things are whipsawing back and forth, because of the economic report, whatever it is, it's gambling. If you want to gamble, go to Vegas. They have lovely hostesses, beautiful suites, and free drinks. Okay. All right. So here's our all-time historic high. Looks like we're getting a rounding top, but what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to get below this daily BBC. Couldn't do it here, 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 and so far here. Trees don't grow to the sky, the market doesn't either. Now, that article I shared with you earlier in the broadcast about the current bond yields, money may fast come out of the market into treasuries because there's no risk. Not a lot of profit either, but no risk. Well, let's just say that let's just say Wall Street considers it a no-risk position. Anytime somebody's holding your money other than you, there's risk, okay? Way back here, November 2nd, we were bearish. On November 2nd, we closed above the BBC. Bull bear cross. Our confirmation came on November 3rd that this was a real move because we opened and closed above the BBC. And we've been on a tear ever since. We have not even had a 24% Fib retracement along the way. Okay? Now, this didn't become the 24 until this new all-time high was put in. But if you just look at the market, there hasn't been a 24% retracement. That in and of itself is highly unusual. Now, not to use racetrack terms, but we're kind of due. Okay? That's how markets work. You get a leg and then a retracement. A leg and then a retracement. And a decent retracement would put us back at the 50% Fib retracement, which would have everyone swearing that the sky is falling and life as we know it is over. But our extremely educated audience knows better than that. While everyone else is running around screaming the sky is falling and price is sitting on this 50%, we're getting ready to load the boat. Because if that 50 holds, and we don't just park an order there. No, we let it come. We let it sit. And as it starts to rise, then we load the boat. Because there's a high probability that it's going to do its very best to get back to this swing high. Keep in mind, it takes financial commitment for price to rise. All it takes for prices to drop is for institutional traders to hit the pause button on the buy side. That's why prices fall faster than they rise. It does not take financial commitment for price to fall. It takes financial commitment to keep it from falling. Now, if you're new, that may go over your head, but someday you'll go, ah, I understand. Stick around. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, these are last week's weekly trading zones. Okay. Why? Because the alerts that go out on Sunday night, logic and CTAs, are based on last week's zones. The new zones come out Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. So on tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones on my charts. The alerts that went out this morning, there was 2 or 3. Those are based on this week's zones. Anything after 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Everything prior to that last week's zones. That's why I still have last week's zones on my chart. Now you'll see, and then here's a very good example. Where did we find resistance today? At last week's zone. Now this is Monday. This is Friday, the vertical line right there. This is Monday, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. This is Friday. This is Thursday. Just so happens on Thursday, right at this weekly zone, we got a bearish cross. So as price is moving up, we expect resistance at a zone until proven otherwise. Just as when price drops to a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. Support will always send the market looking for resistance. Resistance will send the market looking for support. And remember, the pullback to the BBC holds more often than not. Okay? There was two reasons. Previous bearish cross. Whenever you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance, regardless of the zone. So this was resistance times 2. Now, once the step line crossed blue and climbing, that's an indication the price is going to pull back to the BBC. And in doing so, has created a third resistance. Blue and climbing has now turned to red and falling, and it's directly above price. Okay, so now you've got resistance times 3 in this area. Red and falling, last week's zone, previous bearish cross. Okay, that's called learning how to read a chart. Does previous price action always predict how current price action is going to behave? No. There are very few absolutes, but does it more often than not? Yes, it does. They even gave it a name. It's called technical analysis. So here's where we opened last night. Price was trapped. Now these CTAs came out 5 minutes after the open. I showed you them earlier, at the beginning of the broadcast. Price was trapped between resistance at the BBC, support at blue and climbing. So price comes down to the support at blue and climbing escorts it above the BBC. So we get a leg and a retracement and a leg, which took us to the target. That leg continued up to that zone, and then another retracement. That's how price moves. Price rarely travels in a straight line, except maybe for even this 30-minute candle. That looks like a straight line, but go to a smaller time frame, and you'll see lots of ups and downs, yips and yaps along the way. Leg, retracement, leg. Support sends us looking for resistance. There it is. Now, if you were up in trading last night, once we got above the BBC and had blue and climbing, this indicator, it's called the CFMA1, but I refer to it as red and falling, blue and climbing. Hopefully it's obvious why. One's bearish, the other bullish. Okay. So down here, you had this candle open at, I'll call it 51.92. And it ran up to 51.99. That's 7 points, okay? You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. So after we got this leg, okay, remember leg, retracement, leg, retracement. Pull back to the BBC held. Holds more often than not. So off we go. We got the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. So this candle opened at 52.01, ran up 12 points to the target, ultimately finding resistance at last week's zone, previous bearish cross. So now the question, is this pullback going to hold? It holds more often than not, but eventually it will trade through, like it did here on Friday. Okay. So what you should be looking for are windows of opportunity above and below where price is right now. How do you find these windows of opportunity? Become a passport holder, and we teach you. It's really quite simple. You'll wonder, why didn't I think of that? Yeah. I don't know. So we never had any real reason to consider the short target last night because we had blue and climbing. And then once we're above the BBC, we're only thinking higher prices until price gets below the BBC. So let's say this candle were to close below the BBC and then get below last week's zone, right? Okay. Then be looking for areas of opportunity, windows of opportunity on the way down. 51.70. 51.74 to 71, that would be 3 points. You only need 2 points, get your goal for the day. On the Dow, here's where we opened, same scenario, blue and climbing, BBC. Price gets a little above the BBC, accompanied by blue and climbing. So 39.175 up to 39.194. You need 20 points, that's 19. Okay. But then price rolls over and comes back down to the zone. Last week's zone, 390.80/85. The low was 89. Okay. With the Dow, there's no ticks, only points. Everything else has ticks. So from here, support, price goes and looks for resistance. Resistance times 2. BBC, red and falling. Price drops. Buyers step in early, right here. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. We close above the BBC, and off the open of this candle, we got the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. Right up to the zone. The zone that was published a week ago, last Monday at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, this week's zones will be on my charts. But remember, these alerts were based on last week's zones. They always are. So we consolidate at the zone. Remember, that's what happens 70% of the time. That's consolidation. 20% of the time is rejection. 10% of the time, a slice. Okay. So we get above. We run to the zone. Consolidate. And then this green candle, okay, opens right here and takes us up to the zone. Now, why did price stop there? The answer was given to you on Friday afternoon. It's right there. See that high? That's that high. What? Yeah, true. So resistance sends a market looking for what? Support. Where did it find it? At the zone in blue and climbing, which walked it back up. And then it found resistance at that high. Are you telling me it always does that? More often than not. So then we come back down to the BBC, get another rally, and again, a rally, and then get a pullback. See right here, the step line crossed. So what does that tell us? Price is going to attempt to pull back to the BBC. Did it? Yes. Has it found support there? Yes, so far. Did it spike it and touch last week's zone? It did. But you see how it just pulled up a little bit? Now there's still 8 minutes, 7 minutes left in the life of this candle, this 30-minute candle. So where we close is important. If we close below this low or below this zone, or if the next candle takes us below that low, okay, you've got potential support right there and right there at the bullish cross. Bullish cross led to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area, almost always good support. However, if this pullback ultimately holds and the next candle starts printing green, then the step line is going to be potential resistance. When climbing is going to be directly above price on its way to becoming red and falling. That would be potential resistance. Now, on the way up today, why did price stop right there? I mean, we had a pretty good head of steam, right? Just look left. Bearish cross. It led to an extended move. First time price revisited that area. What did it become? Good resistance. Sent it all the way back to the BBC and the zone below. Now we got to be patient and see what happens next. And once we see what happens next, then we will plan accordingly, knowing that if we start climbing, we've got potential resistance here, here, and here, and then here, and then here, and then here. If we come crashing down, we've got support here, and we've got potential support here, here, here. On the Russell, 5 minutes into the life of this candle last night, the CTAs were published. I don't always get them published that quick. Okay, sometimes it'll be 30 minutes after the Globex open. Like today's the Monday session. That will end for stocks at 4 p.m. Eastern, but for futures, it won't end until 5 p.m. Eastern. Then the market will go quiet for an hour. And tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, the markets will reopen. And that will be the beginning of the Tuesday session, even though it's still Monday night here in the U.S. That's called the Globex session. Now, that's from the root word global, right? Okay. Just because it's Monday night here in the U.S., it's already Tuesday morning in other parts of the country, and other parts of the world, not in the country, in the world. Okay? All right. Little history lesson. Okay. So, we open here, we make a move up, we don't get all the way to the zone, we run into this resistance right here that was printed on Friday. So that sends us down to where? Support. Why? Bullish cross. Are you noticing how the same things happen over and over? See, our strategy, our methodology, our indicators are all built on the underlying principles upon which markets work. Those principles have been in place since the inception of the markets and will remain in place till the markets cease to exist. Why? Because that's how markets work. Why doesn't anyone else tell you that? Because then they couldn't sell you 1,000 different indicators and oscillators and strategies and holy grails and seminars and webinars and all that stuff. What do we got? We got a passport. That's it. One trick pony. That's all you need. We teach you how to read the chart, how to read the indicators, and how to understand what the next high probability move is. Now, is that a perfect science? But remember, I told you earlier in the broadcast, over the last 294 weeks, I think it is, we've issued over 16,200 individual alerts. We've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out. Last week was 12%. So your best analysis is not going to give you 100% track record. And I don't care how sleek and sexy and well crafted that email you got this morning was that promised you endless riches. Should be criminal, but they haven't criminalized that yet. They've weaponized everything else, but they haven't criminalized that. And they should, because so many people get taken advantage of, taken to the cleaners, and never even have a fighting chance to succeed in the markets. It's a shame, right? Now, just because you've been stung and burned and lied to, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. We all went through that. That's why we created what we've created, a place where you can go that's family friendly. You're not competing with the other people. We're all on the same team. Our discussion group is filled with traders, happy to help you, happy to chat with you, because they went through the same struggle you went through. It's an endless array of stuff. Why? It just somehow never seemed to work quite the same way it did at that seminar in Vegas or on that webinar you attended, where they only had 10 copies left, even though it's a digital product. Only 10 copies left. Get it now. If we let too many people know the secret, then it won't work anymore. Boy, that's such a huge red flag. I couldn't even carry it. You see, with our methodology and strategy, the more people that use it, the better it works. Because we enter on a stop, whether it's long or short. So when you have hundreds or thousands of people piling in at the same price, guess what? Whether it's a long or short trade, you get to your target faster. We let the force of the market trigger us into our trade. Not that whole scenario where you're going to hope that price pulls back to this point so you can make your purchase. And then price is going to magically stop falling, turn around and start rising again. That's a whole lot of hopium, right? Why not use the force of the market, the movement of price, to help you instead of kill you? Anyway, sermon over. Price comes down to the BVC, pullback hold sends us up to the zone at 2868/69. Then we pull back to the BBC. We actually get below the BBC right here, okay? But why did price stop falling? There's your reason. It's right there. Right? See it. So then buyers come in, push us above the BBC, above the zone, above this previous swing high, and we actually go through the target. Make it all the way up to 2076.40. Now remember, when I gave you the numbers from around the world, the Russell was the only one in the red. I guess it's probably back to about break even. Actually, Friday's close was right there. So it's still a little bit in the red, okay? But it is the weakest of the indices. We're below the BBC. You can see on the way down, we had price, step line, red and falling. Then down here, what happened? The step line crossed red and falling. So what do we expect? Price to pull up to the BBC. Question is, does it hold like it did here? Does it hold like it did here? Or here? Or does it trade through? If it trades through, then be wary of this resistance right here. And this resistance at the zone. We're not teaching you how to trade a specific instrument. Not a specific futures market, not a specific stock, crypto, Forex, ETF. Teaching you something more important. One of the most valuable life skills you can learn. How to trade. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. So we opened last night, price was trapped. Support below, blue and climbing. Resistance overhead, BBC. Now when the BBC is overhead, you got to look at that as resistance. When the BBC is below, you got to look at it as support. Okay? So we cross this candle here, opens at 18,110 and runs up 50 points at $20 a point. That right there is $1,000 per contract. Then we hit resistance at the zone. Remember, that's what we expect. That's what we experienced on Friday, resistance. See, that's rejection 20% of the time. And that rejection, that resistance sent us to support at the zone below, which is what this leg was built off of. Now the step line crossed. Why did price stop there? It was headed for the zone. Come on, man. This candle was green all the way up. Pull back to the BBC. Try it again. Look at the horizontal line on the cursor. See the bearish cross? See it? That's why it didn't make it to the zone. That's why you should be prepared for it to not make it to the zone. Will there be times when it trades right through it and goes right to the zone? Absolutely. But more often than not, you're going to get what I've showed you over and over today. And there's 2,400 videos on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN, where you can go see this happen, not just today. Today's not just some wild day, some anomaly. Not at all. Same thing day after day after day. Why? Because that's how markets work. Okay. So the step line crossed, we hit resistance, which was defined last Thursday. Monday, Friday, Thursday, the vertical line separates the days. So far the pullback has held, but it's having a tough time getting going. It hit the step line, came back to the BBC. Right now it's fighting with the step line. If it can overcome the step line, it's got to overcome that high, and that high, and that's going to put it at the next obstacle, red and falling, which lines up with that high. I would not even consider going long this market until price gets above red and falling. Now, the longer we consolidate sideways, red and falling is going to drop. Once red and falling drops, if that's how it plays out, and price gets above red and falling, make sure you remain aware of the potential obstacles. Okay. Okay. All right, that covers all the indices. So we're going to have to pick up the pace. Crude oil. Here's where we opened last night, above the BBC. And we ran right up to the target. This one candle right here opened at 81.19. Let's call it 81.20 to be conservative. 81.20 to 81.35. That's $150 per contract traded. You've earned the right to trade 10 contracts. That's $1,500. Look at the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. Takes us up to the zone. Spike it. Retrace. Wide-ranging consolidation. And we finally pull back to the BBC. But notice, every one of these candles is still touching the BBC. So, even though we spiked it, pull back hill. And so we go back up for some more consolidation and another retracement. We finally broke free. And remember, I talked to you earlier about crude. Our highest weekly zone this week is 83.20. We're already at 82.70. Now, one of two things is going to happen. We're going to blow through the highest weekly zone like it's not even there, or we're going to hit it on a Tuesday morning, and despite the FOMC, there's going to be the potential for price to end up at the lowest weekly zone by the end of the week, which is 78.85/78. 78.85/78.90. Okay. But look what's happening to the step line. See how it's rising? See how it's starting to hook to the right? Once that step line crosses blue and climbing, you should be anticipating a retracement back to the BBC. Let it retrace, find out if it's going to hold, and then look for your next trade setup. Remembering that the pullback holds more often than not. Gold, here's where we opened last night. A leg, a retracement, and a leg that takes us right to the target. 21.50. It was 5 minutes into the life of this candle that this target was published. Now, there's a reason that target was there. Right there. From price action back on March 6th. How far do you look back? As far as you need to. Now, price has risen up to the zone, last week's zone. Okay. And what's it been doing for the last, well, since 7 o'clock this morning? It's been consolidating at the zone. 2163/64. One of two things is going to happen. Price is going to take out this swing high or this swing low. Price is always trying to do one of two things. Take out the previous swing high or the previous swing low. It's real easy to see right here. Okay. Takes out this swing high, then you're going to get a shot to trade to the target and potentially beyond. And potentially beyond. Okay. However, if price takes out this low before it takes out this high, Is there room to short down to support? Well, there's your support right there, 21.56. Once you get below 56, then you got a pretty smooth ride down to about 20.51. That would be $500 per contract traded. And if you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, $5 grand. Silver. Here's where we opened last night. We had red and falling. We were below the BBC. Got a leg. Got a retracement. Pull back held. And bang. What we do? We hit the target. Bounced up to red and falling. Found resistance. Back down to the target again. Now on this move up, red and falling turns to blue and climbing. Bullish. So we get a leg, a retracement, a bullish cross, and away we go. All the way up to the target. Even spiked it a little bit. And then we came, step line crossed. We came down hard. We traded back through the BBC. The leg, retracement, and a leg. Okay. Where'd that leg take us? Right to the target. What's happening now? Market found support. It's got to go find resistance. Once it finds resistance, then it's got to go find support. Now we expect this to be resistance until proven otherwise. That's where you exercise patience and see. With silver, you only need 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. This candle opened 25.31, ran up 16 points, $800 per contract traded. Last but not least, the euro. We dropped, didn't quite make it to the short target. Okay. Get above the BBC, then we're back below. Not good trading. Then things open up. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC, perfect stack. We go up to the target. We overshoot the target a little bit. Okay. That resistance sends us looking for support. We traded through the BBC, through the target, and even through that zone last week. Two-sided action. Long target followed by the short target. So, because the S&P is considered the bellwether among the indices, the other indices, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, sometimes they'll get out ahead of the S&P, sometimes they'll lag behind. But ultimately, at the end of the day, wherever the S&P goes, the other three will ultimately go. That doesn't mean the S&P moves first. It just means it exercises leadership. Okay? So a bullish close today above blue and climbing would set the stage for a run at this high and then the all-time historic high. When I say all-time historic high, I mean since the invention of the Emini futures. You're looking at the all-time historic high right there at 52.57 and a quarter. Now, if going into the close today, you see this thing drop like a rock back down to the 62 and the BBC, then that's when you should be starting to look for windows of opportunity on the downside. Not only on your daily, but on your 30-minute roadmap. Okay. Your range chart You whip that out once you've identified the window of opportunity on the 30-minute roadmap so that you can enter and exit with surgical precision, risking the smallest amount on each trade. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, you can call us at 949-42-EMINI, or you can send an email to support@cfrn.net. If you're not a member and you would like a free trade alert, you can text a symbol to 949-423-6464. Got your pen now? Okay. 949-423-6464. Text a symbol, and what'll happen is when a trade is about to set up, you'll get a notice. And then the next notice will be the entry price, the target price, and the stop loss price. 949-423-6464. Or as the cool kids say, 949-42-EMINI. Remember, 9 out of 10 new traders fail, not because they're stupid, not because they're afraid, but because they don't have a teacher. Whatever career path you choose, you need somebody to teach you how to do the job. If it's a barista, well, maybe you can learn that in a day. If it's a brain surgeon, it's going to take a decade. How long does it take to learn our strategy? That depends on you. You see, trading is not a spectator sport. So you got to get in there, roll up your sleeves, trade in your demo account, push buttons. You're never going to learn how to trade watching Michael trade or anybody else. That's the purpose of your demo account, to prove to yourself that you have, in fact, learned the strategy. Our 24/20 blueprint is going to instruct you to put together 10 consecutive days in a row in your demo account before you even think about going live. When you do go live, you only go live with one contract. Of course, that's going to be funded with your startup capital, funds that you use to open your trading account. Once you're trading real money, your goal is now to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once that happens, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract or double your earnings. The beautiful thing about that second contract, unlike the first contract, the second contract is funded with profit you earned in the market. The blueprint's going to tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10, all the way up to number 20. 24/20 blueprint means the goal is to help you go from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. Now, 2 points in the S&P is $100 per contract per day. When you go to 2 contracts, the same 2 points is now $200 a day. When you get to 5 contracts, the same 2 points is now $500 a day. Some people get very comfortable there. That's $2,500 a week. Never feel compelled to trade in size larger than you're comfortable with. Now, each time you increase your trade size, it is going to take you out of your comfort zone for a few trades till you get comfortable at that level. But don't feel compelled. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody. You're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. or whoever your trading buddies are. You do what's right for you, okay? And if $500 a day is plenty for you, if you stay there for 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years, no problem. If you want to keep growing the size that you trade, the blueprint's going to help you all the way up to number 20. And the only reason it stops at number 20 is because 2420 blueprint sounds cool, right? Do we have traders trading 30, 40 contracts or more? Yeah. But they didn't make the mistake of putting the cart before the horse, because that's real awkward. Take it one step at a time. You only add one contract at a time. Only add with profit you earned in the market. If you have the discipline to follow that, it makes it much more difficult to blow up another account. In fact, you'll break some rules in the process. So whether it's us or somebody else, make sure you get a teacher. And by teacher, I don't mean somebody that sends you some prepackaged cherry-picked videos. I mean somebody that meets with you live in real time and trades with you live in real time every trading day. Someone who's willing to meet with you for one-on-one private mentoring sessions. With us, the strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets, all time frames, future, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF. As a passport holder, you'll receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and of course you'll be able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll also receive the golden key that unlocks the private channels in Telegram. So not only will you be able to attend this Thursday night's members only workshop, but you'll be able to go and look at last week's workshop if you want, and the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. We've been doing these Thursday night workshops for a very long time. Plus, it'll open up the main discussion group for you. As a trial member, you have access to the trial discussion group. You can ask questions in there anytime. One of our members will be happy to answer you. Okay. It's where you get the weekly trading zones while you're on trial, the logic alerts while you're on trial, the CTAs while you're on trial. But then when you become a member, you get the links that take you into the live members area. Okay. All right. That's a whole lot of talking today. Let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. Now, for the last 2 days, we talked about praying God's promises. Today, we're going to talk about doing what God says. How many times has the Holy Spirit spoken to you and told you to do something, but you were a little bit embarrassed and felt awkward and didn't do it? If you're a believer and you hang out with believers, I know there's been a time when God told you to go pray for so-and-so. Well, you don't know so-and-so and you just don't feel right walking up to them and start praying. Well, you need to overcome that. Because the more you learn to hear and follow the voice of the Holy Spirit, God's going to hand you more and more important tasks, which is going to take not more courage, more faith. It's very easy to shake somebody's hand and say, hey, my name's Bobby Joe. Could I pray for you? Just a moment. Now, if you're in a biker bar, you might get a pitcher of beer poured on your head. And maybe you shouldn't be in the biker bar anyway. I got nothing against bikers. I had a moped. I used to race motocross. But anyway, that's a whole nother story from a lifetime ago. But when you're around a body of believers, whether it's in a small group or a church or the church picnic or whatever, chances are the person, if you say to them, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, I should come and pray for you. That person's going to be like, whoa, I wish the Holy Spirit spoke to me like that. By all means, pray for me. And that opens the door for you to say, what is it? Maybe you're going through a storm right now. Are you comfortable just sharing in a few words what that storm is? My husband's in the hospital. My children are strung out on drugs. Now you can pray a specific prayer. You follow me here? All right. Genesis 15:1. The Lord came to Abram in a vision. When God gives you a vision for your life, He doesn't give you all the details up front. He simply says, don't be afraid. Just do what I say, and I will guide you and prosper you. What did Abram's vision involve? Well, in Genesis 12, verses 1 and 2, it says, Now the Lord said to Abram, Go from your country and from your relatives and from your father's house to the land which I will show you. And I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Now, in order for Abram to do that, that took a whole lot of faith, not necessarily courage, faith. Leave your country. Leave all your relatives. Some of you go, well, that'd be a good thing. And from your father's house. Whoa. Now, to do those things, that's going to take faith, not false courage. That was Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 2. Now, how old was Abram when God gave him this command? 19? 20? Was he young like Jeremiah? No. He was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. What was Abram leaving? Well, in Genesis 13:2, it says, Now Abram was very rich in livestock, silver, and gold. So, how did Abram respond? Well, in Hebrews 11:8, it says, By faith, Abraham, he got a name change in between, obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. Abraham couldn't have told you where his final destiny was or even how he would get there. He just knew God had told him to leave the safe harbor where he was. Understand this. What you're willing to walk away from often determines what God can entrust you with. You say, but I need to have more information. You will know as you go. With each step of faith you take, God will reveal another detail. He will inform you on a need-to-know basis. So, is the God who said to Abram, "Go to the land that I will show you," saying something similar to you today? I bet he is. Don't be afraid. Just step out in faith and obey him. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.